And we are live now. Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to my channel. I'm Claire. Welcome to Stitch and Witch, which is a Halloween edition of Stitch and Bitch. And as you can see, we are witchy and all Halloweened up, and we are also stitching. Everyone else is stitching because I spent time doing this and didn't actually get my knitting in time.
It's a different kind of stitching, like
yeah,
literal
exactly. It's very haphazard this time around. I've done it in much more detailed ways in the past. But why doesn't everybody go ahead and introduce themselves? Di, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Di. You can find me on Twitter at bookishdi, and I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. It's still early for me.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Di is quite travel tight. I was like maybe not jet lagged. I don't know where you were.
Yeah,
but
it's more like I'm catching up on sleep, because it turns out when you're like almost 30, it's a really bad idea to schedule a flight that gets in at 1 a.m., especially when the shuttle service to your town doesn't run in between 12:45 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. So you have to camp at the airport for 3.5 hours. And then take a 2-hour shuttle home and then take a lift to your house. Yeah, do not recommend. 0 out of 10.
No. Yes, and sorry.
Anyway,
well, I just recorded 2 podcasts today, so I'm like, what are words even? So this was great planning on everybody's part. Next up, Bree, do you want to say hello?
Sure. Hi, I'm Bree. I have a booktube channel called Bree Reads Books, and of course I'm on the Twitter and the Instagram and things. Yeah, no, I'm so sorry to hear that you were in airport hell.
I was, and the worst part is that my flight was like, my airline wouldn't let me switch to an earlier flight, so I was also like stuck in a very small regional airport for hours.
Oh, that's bad. That's unpleasant.
That is bad. Yes.
Traveling is bad, actually. Can be bad.
Yeah. Bree, did you say your channel, or did you immediately just say you were sorry about the travel?
No, I said my channel, Bree Reads Books. It's in the parentheses.
Oh my god. It's actually written up. It's in the description. Freya!
Hello. So, I'm Freya, and I have a YouTube channel called The Bookfinch. I'm also on Twitter with the same name. And I have to say that sounds awful. And like, I can only imagine that regional airports in like North America are much worse than the ones we have in Finland, because nobody goes there. So like, you know, that just sounds like all around and what's the word for it? Like, not a fun experience.
Yeah. I mean, I did watch a lot of Bon Appetit Test Kitchen, so there was that. But
yeah.
Well, you know, make the most out of the worst situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll pick up on Bon Appetit Test Kitchen later, because I have a thing that related to that is hilarious. But Rachel, do you want to say hi?
Hi. I'm very intent on my knitting today, so
yeah.
If I'm quiet, that's why. So my channel is Kalanati, and I am Kalanati pretty much everywhere that matters. So,
can I ask you about the shawl you're wearing? Because I'm not sure if is that one that we've seen before? It looks lovely.
Maybe. I'm doing very low-key Mrs. Weasley vibes today.
Nice.
So I've got my handmade sweater in Gryffindor colors. I'm wearing my fingerless gloves and this shawl, so
it works.
That's fantastic. Also, this is like your first real knitting project, and she chose socks.
I know.
I am doing the toe on this sock right now today, so I will Kitchener stitch the tip of it and see if it actually fits or not.
I mean, I have been knitting since I was in 5th grade, and I don't think I still managed to finish a proper pair of socks. I just, delegate that stuff to my mom, who's good at socks.
I'm gonna be like reading the American Girl books, the Molly ones, like made me terrified of knitting socks. Because there's like an entire book. Did anyone else read the American Girl doll books?
Yes.
Okay, so and I think the 6th Molly book, she and her friends are like supposed to be knitting stuff for the front because it's set during World War II, and someone was let's knit socks, and then Molly like has this internal monologue about how terrible knitting socks is.
She's not wrong.
Okay, did anybody else read the Dear America ones?
Which were like those.
They were like historical. They were in the same kind of vein, but super dark. So like it was about like girls who like lived as part of American, like Native American tribes, and then got shipped off to boarding school and had their names changed, and like girls dying on the Titanic.
That sounds really serious.
Oh, I mean, they were great. Like
they were fantastic, but they were just like, what if we took American Girl dolls and we just upped it a level?
Yeah. Well, oh my god, the Oregon Trail one where she accidentally like kills the kids with hemlock.
Dies of dysentery. I know that one.
No, this is
what happens on the Oregon Trail.
This was worse, Claire.
I think those books never made it to this part of the hemisphere for some reason.
I think they had one about the Donner Party.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Well, and then
I just recently watched the Ask a Mortician episode on the Donner Party.
Well,
that was a riot.
That's serial killing.
No, the Donner Party was cannibalism.
Yeah, it's people who were stuck in the
survival cannibalism.
Okay, what a time I can't hear you talking about the cannibalism.
No, but they also had a spin-off of like Royal Diaries that were like the shit because they had like Gulf leaf edges, which were like super fucking fancy when you're in elementary school.
Excuse me, I like sprayed edges now.
No, but like there were not that many books with sprayed edges.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Well, and even the basic like Dear America ones had like the fancy ribbon for a bookmark built in. It was.
Oh my god, I love those. There's like a picture of me when I'm 8 because I requested a bunch of Dear America books from Santa one year, and I got them all. And there's a photo of me with like a stack of books like half my height. I need to find
Adorable. it. Yeah. It sounds very your brand.
Speaking of those America books, I just recently saw a bunch of pictures on Twitter about these like I survived books. And they're like, I survived the Hindenburg and I survived the Titanic.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
I know that's a TV show in the US, like where.
And they all have this like small child in the cover, like making their escape. And I'm like, that's intense for like a middle grade audience, you know?
No.
I'm gonna try dropping some stuff in the chat just in case anybody is interested in finding out about these Dear America ones.
I remember, so the Oregon Trail one kind of traumatized me.
I think Chelsea and I have actually like bonded a couple of times now over how like these made us into woke like 2019 American women.
The slavery ones were dark, like really dark. And then there was also one that, let's see, coal mining in Pennsylvania, where like this girl is a child bride essentially, where she like leaves Poland and like gets married to this guy and like has to help raise his kids because I think he dies. I can't remember what happens to the husband.
That did not go where I was expecting it to go. So
no, it went somewhere realer.
Yeah.
But books can't handle real life topics.
Nor can children really. It's a thing that people say about kids and teenagers when they don't want certain issues brought up in middle grade and young adult books, and it's very wrong.
Yeah. I want to see what everyone's working on.
I wasn't sure if I was being ironic and obvious enough. Anyway, Bree, sorry.
I mean, like the Tibetan genocide in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was very well handled, but then again, that's a pretty great show.
I want to see what people are working on.
Okay, so I'm working on this scarf, which is a yarn that I bought in Dublin, and it's very simple because I keep making mistakes when I'm stitching on stream because it's hard to pay attention to things, and it's hard to focus on just the one thing. So this is a yarn that probably should have gone into a bowl because that's what it looks like right now. But it's really soft, and I'm enjoying it greatly. It's literally just straight up and down, purl one row and then knit one row. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but probably somebody's going to get it for Christmas. So.
All right, I will go next. I am working on a baby blanket for a friend.
Ooh. What's the pattern?
It's basically just like,
is it the BB-8 one?
It's more like X-Wing because it's for my friends Brian and Nancy, and they're big Star Wars fans. And they are not. BB-8. And I'm like, do you want something in X-Wing colors? Because that X-Wing colors are gender neutral.
Yeah, and also fun. Like
nice
and warm.
So I'm working on.
Sorry.
Go.
I'm thinking like BB-8, Baby-8.
Yeah, BB-8.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm working on it. So basically, it's hexagons, which are made because you'll like slip a stitch for like 6 rows. And then when you knit it, it just like stretches up.
God, I would never like manage to consistently do that.
It's like it's repetitive, but also kind of soothing.
Yeah.
But I also need to finish quick because the baby's due in December, and I still have to send Chelsea the baby blanket I knit her because I am terrible at mail.
Mail is hard. Rachel, did you say what you were working on?
Well, I'm working on my green knitted sock, and once I'm done decreasing for the toe, I will switch to my crocheted sock.
Ooh.
Can't have too many socks.
It's Socktober.
It is Socktober, and these are my Halloween colored ones. So
sorry, I missed that because there was Inktober going on, and there's maybe many things.
There's also like Kinktober I've heard Chelsea talk about.
So if you're in fandom, do check. There's probably an AO3 tag for that, or there will be a collection at some point, but that is good to know. Now, Rhea, what are you making?
I am making a shawl, and this is it's called the Irish shawl, iris, like a flower.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And so it is from a lady who's Finnish, actually, I think.
Oh, she's Icelandic.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I think she lives in Cuba, though.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. I think she has like a summer place in Cuba because she talks sometimes on like her her crochet alongs about how she wants to move to Cuba finally. But her stuff is awesome. If you ever look up the Havana blanket of hers, it's real gorgeous.
Cool.
Yeah, her name's Tina, Tianna.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a link, you can probably just give it to me in the guest chat, and then I can put it on the actual chat.
Cool.
Sorry, what was that link you just sent, Brie, the eBay one?
Oh, is that the American Girls?
Yeah, that's the American Girls.
You're,
or not American Girls, the Dear American ones.
Okay, sorry, I'll put that in the chat. Dear American Books. Well, I think that got sent in 3 different comments, so that was fun.
Long.
That's amazing.
Whoops. Okay. BRB.
Di is Is your blanket pattern on Ravelry for me to look up later?
No, I actually checked out a baby blanket or like a ebook from the library and screenshot the pattern and printed it. So I'll tell you what book it was from once I am logged back into my library account.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
And Freya, what are you making?
I'm still working on the Hufflepuff scarf, which I'm probably going to be working on the next 12 months because I want it to be super long so that it can actually wrap around my neck and still reach my waist. And after that, I promise that I make the same one for my partner who's a Slytherin. So, I'm in scarf hell for the foreseeable future.
I mean, that sounds great to me, but hey. I have the problem with house scarves for me is that A, I'm a Slytherpuff, so that's, hard to do. And also B, I have the best Harry Potter scarf that I got from a random Harry Potter loot crate box at some point, which it didn't have a lot of the things in it weren't great, but that scarf was awesome. And it's really, I should get it out of the cupboard because it's getting to that time where it's it is getting cold enough that I actually want it, but it is really long. So I support your plan, Rhea, for the length of your scarf.
Yeah, and it's gonna have pom-poms at the ends. And
Solid.
I also bought the house patches so that it will have the patch on one side.
Neat. That's really cool. Now, what's everyone reading at the moment?
I'm currently kind of between books, but I finished reading while I was at my conference the new Ronan Farrow book, Catch and Kill, which was excellent. Really dark at times and also really disturbing, but also Lovett's hilarious, and him and Ronan together are really sweet. And also the woman in the that he talks to are just incredibly brave and wonderful. And then I also read the new Rick Riordan book, which was also fun and great. And Raina, I can never remember Raina's full name unless I'm looking at it, but Raina is better than everyone else, and it gave me a lot of good found family feels.
What's the new Rick Riordan book called?
It is The Tyrant's Tomb. It is the fourth book in his Trials of Apollo series. So basically, Zeus turns Apollo human, and Apollo gets tied to this delightful scamp of a child named Meg, who's 12, and I adore Meg.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Meg and Apollo were giving me the good found family feels.
Good. Whew.
Rachel, what are you reading?
Just tweeting.
Sorry, I'm struggling with that slip knit thing, which I cannot for the life of me get right.
Okay, well, I'll
got
go.
it.
You focus on that. Well, if you've got it, you can talk about what you're reading. Otherwise, if you need someone else to talk, I can do that.
My reading is very short. I finished some stuff during Dewey's yesterday, so really the only thing I'm actively reading is The Armored Saint, and it's a novella, so I'll finish it this evening.
I've been wanting to read that. The covers are speaking to me on
that is because I know
supposed to be this. I don't know if it's magic powered armor or something, or kind of a steam powered armor, and I want to get to that bit, but so far it's just been lots of sadness with villagers being killed by religious fanatics.
Yeah, I think it was Bridget who read it and did not enjoy it, so I'm interested to see what you're
I think I've heard some mixed things about the tone of the book and how much misery and people dying there are. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the main character, the 16-year-old girl, is basically inspired by Joan of Arc. So I think it's going to be that kind of story. It's not going to be a happy story by any means, but I want to finish this one today, and I have the second one. If I feel so inclined, I might continue with it.
Well, the name Armored Saint also implies that.
Yeah.
And I am reading some various things. I need to go to the library and pick up some of my holds, actually, because I've got Witch Week by Diana Wynne Jones that actually came in to the library, and I want to reread that for the Claire Witch Project. And also the library had Heartstopper 1 and 2, so that's in my holds as well. I need to go pick that up. But right now I'm still reading Practical Magic. There we go. Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. Because I wanted to rewatch the movie during
I love that movie.
October. That's probably not gonna. I'm probably not gonna like finish it and then watch the movie during October because it's been a little stressful. So I've gone back to a lot of like old fanfic faves that really like de-stress me when work is busy. But
Stalker Channing is like my witch vibes dream.
I haven't read Witch Week in like a super long time. I think I reread some Chrestomanci a while ago, like just after I moved to the UK, because my best friend that I lived with at the time like had some of the books, but I'm not sure if I reread Witch Week that time. I don't remember it very well. I remember, reading it, liking it. I remember reading the Chrestomanci books and liking them. I remember rereading like Charmed Life and The Magician's anyway.
Caprona.
I know that's one of them, but that's not the one I was thinking of. The
Lives of Christopher Chant, Conrad's Fate.
The Lives of Christopher Chant. There we go. I knew I was getting it wrong. Anyway, now I just want to reread like all of them, obviously, because as soon as you mention them, you're like, yes. But yeah. So I've been very busy, and I've been meaning to go to the library to pick up my holds for like 4 days or something. But hopefully tomorrow, because I don't work on Mondays. So yay. Raya, what are you reading?
So I am currently reading Tamsin by Peter F. Beagle, and also Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. And I also should be reading Frankenstein, which is a reread, but I can't do that because it seriously spikes my anxiety for some reason. So I've been kind of pushing it away and tried to read Tamsin because Tamsin is really cozy. It's like, it isn't super scary. It's more like whimsical, and it has like ghosts and boggarts and lots of that English mythology and like English folk tales. And it's also a coming of age story. It's told through the perspective of a 19-year-old writing the story of herself moving to England when she was 13. So it's really interesting to have that perspective of how she has grown up, and like she is aware of that she wasn't a very nice person back then. It's been really interesting. Also hits too close to home because she has like divorced parents and her mom like remarries and stuff, and I'm here like, oh shit, this is exactly the way I behaved like as a teenager, and it's kind of unnerving to read and also really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Rhea, the Audible has a version of Frankenstein that's read by Tim Curry. That's pretty fantastic. I don't know if you are as big of a Tim Curry fan as I am. He was ever present in my childhood.
Oh my God, I need to get that because Tim Curry is like
basically
best. Like, I assume that you have watched Legend with Tom Cruise, and like Tim Curry as the devil is like, I was so scared of him when I was a kid, and then I watched it as an adult, and I was like, this is more campy than scary.
Did you ever watch Ferngully?
Yes.
He's the sludge.
Yeah,
and the villain.
Ferngully was one of my favorite movies, and then when all those like, dude bros started making like angry rant reviews of like nostalgic movies and stuff, and everyone was shitting on Ferngully, and I was like,
go home.
I love this. Like, we went to Australia, and to visit my relatives, and my mom bought me the VHS tape of Fern Gully because it was there, and I had to I watched it so many times that the tape deteriorated. And I had
nice.
and I had to use craft tape to put it back together.
That's commitment. I don't know that I would have put.
I respect
tape to put.
I had so many VHS tapes that had little white bits in the middle because I had to fix them. Like my Star Wars VHS tapes were also like that on multiple points.
Yeah, I would get a little obsessive about watching and rewatching the same things. It's just really comforting to rewatch the same thing. It doesn't give you as much anxiety and stuff. And if I like something, you're like. Anyway, Maya's in the chat. Hey, Maya.
Maya.
Yeah, hi, Maya.
I have a question for Maya. Did she go to the book fair? Because this is the third year in a row that I have promised myself that I will go to the Helsinki Book Fair. And once again, I completely missed out and didn't go.
Let's see what she says. Has everybody talked about what they're reading now? Or
I have not. I am reading Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which has been a bit of an adventure.
Dark?
It has some dark moments. The main character is kind of she's interesting. She's got that rabid dog on the end of a leash vibe a lot of times, but not in a way where she's sorry about it. And I kind of like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Where she's just kind of she knows that she's doing what she needs to do to survive. And so she's not going to say sorry for doing that. And I am very interested to see where it goes. I know that, that some other folks that I know have read it and said that it gets really dark at the end.
I think with that book, there's been so many people didn't know what the book is apparently very different from what people were expecting it to be.
Yeah, because people weren't listening though. Leigh Bardugo has been shouting about how dark the book is for the entire run up to publishing because she was worried about that.
Well, and there's also an expectation that she continues to handhold people through all of her work forever. And it's no, she's explicitly marketing this to people who aren't children, who are maybe a little bit more prepared.
But I also think there's a high expectation that people are expecting her to write fully on high second world fantasy. And that's also something that, even though everyone's been yelling high and low that it's a Yale secret society story, people still sort of kind of have been expecting it to be a secondary world fantasy for some reason.
Well, people keep expecting it to be something that is for them and something that they like because they've liked some of her previous stuff, and that's a yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would be curious to see what people think who have read it, whose opinions I kind of I know where I fall next to those people, because I just keep hearing about how dark it is and stuff, and that makes me think that I'm gonna hate it. But actually, I don't know. It might work really well for me. But I
have it checked out now, so I'm interested to see what your final take on it is, Brie.
Yeah, so far, I mean, I'm maybe 3/4 of the way through. And I mean, to me, her voice is the same, right? She has that same very distinctive, Leigh Bardugo voice when she tells a story. I kind of enjoy that, the character takes some unrepentant revenge. So, if spoilers moment for anybody who is not into spoilers, one of the issues that shows up is somebody videotapes one of her friends doing a sex act and puts that out there because, of course, and it's a Yale frat boy, and predictable.
So spoilers for reality.
Yeah, and spoilers. So keep your ears shut if you don't want to hear it. But she literally makes him eat his own poop.
Nice.
I was expecting it to be dick, but
Yeah, same.
It's
fine.
It's one of those things, and then uses magic to recall the video and basically ruins his life. But part of me finds something like that. It's graphic, and I don't know if I necessarily like it, and I definitely don't think it's like the right way to handle a situation. But at the very least, it is. Someone gets comeuppance, like I don't feel bad for him.
Yeah, no, totally not. I mean, like, there's a difference between like enjoying somebody getting revenge and somebody getting that comeuppance in a book, and like saying that you think that's okay to happen in real life. Like, obviously, we all know that you don't think that's, you know, like,
Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds. Anyway, no, I'm just always worried because sometimes people go like, it's dark, it's really dark, it's really, really dark, and you don't know like what does that mean in terms of like what I'm going to be expect to process as the person reading this. Like, what am I going to see on the page? Like, how graphic is it? So I just think if you want to read any book like that, like just look up some content warnings.
For example, my dark is very different from someone else's dark. Like, for example, something like Berserk, which I love, but would not recommend wholeheartedly to every single person because it's a really fucked up series. So sometimes when people say that, oh, this is dark, I then go and read it, and to me, it doesn't even like
phase you.
It doesn't like do anything for me.
Yeah, and
I like in that way.
Particular things like I can't handle like shows where babies die. Like for me, I can't do it. But like my threshold for that is very different in something like a horror movie than it is in something like a book.
Right, because that's the same kind of thing that, you know, that's the same kind of way. That's why we have content warnings, right? It's just so we know what to expect. Like, it's literally what the use of them is.
It's interesting because, sorry.
I like this comment about why is everyone choosing ninth houses, because Gideon is also Gideon of the ninth house.
One of those coincidences in publishing.
Yeah,
well,
that's
I think
really
for
fun.
this, because there's like 8 actual secret societies in Yale, and Lee Bardugo's making up a 9th one.
Yeah.
So she doesn't get sued.
Well, it's one that like keeps all the other secret societies in check.
The secret society.
But like, who watches The Watchman?
That's kind of the question.
Nice. Let's see. Shannon and also are in the chat and say, did I start reading A Dash of Trouble as well? I am currently reading like 4 different things on my Goodreads because I can't pick one thing. I did start A Dash of Trouble, which was recommended to me by Di. And that is the first book in the Love, Sugar, Magic series by Anna Mariano. And it's adorable. It's a middle grade story about a girl whose family has a bakery. And they are also secretly brujas. They're secretly witches. And I'm about like 40% of the way through. What happened was I was listening to it on audio and I was enjoying it really well. And, you know, she's like 11 or something, the main character. And she and her best friend start making a plot about doing some magic. And they start talking about doing a love potion. And like, I had to stop it to go run an errand, and I haven't picked it up again because I fucking hate love potions so hard. And like, I know that is a middle grade book, but it doesn't make love potions any less of roofies. They're roofies, they're bad, people shouldn't use them. It's weird that we have them as a trope in our like storytelling. I need to get a bit over myself so I can finish this book, which I hear is adorable. And I'm sure it's not going to go any creepy ways because it's not that kind of book. And in any case, like the girl who the potion like would be around, like she doesn't even want this person to be like a boyfriend. She just wants to have, she just had a falling out with a friend who is being not great right now, and she just wants things to go back to the way they were. So she doesn't want it to be. So I don't know. I
will say, like, it's a lot of kids kind of like having good intentions, but also like messing up and having to try and fix what they messed up.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, it's a short book, right? Like, it says 320 pages on Goodreads, but that's because it's, you know, a hardcover children's novel. The audiobook is something like 6 hours or something. 5 hours, I don't know. It's quite short. And I've been listening to it on double speed, so, you know, I did 40% of the book in one go, and I thought it went really, really well. It just, like, if I didn't have to run an errand and I had gone past that hump, I would have been fine to continue it. Shannon says, I think the treatment of the love potion will work for you. Well, I'm glad. I don't think
the witch's hat.
I don't think Freya. I don't think Di would have recommended me something that was creepy.
No,
Raya really, but
no, the series is great. I'm looking forward to the third one.
Yes.
I'm also. I just realized that I didn't talk about any of the comics I'm reading, so I'm gonna shout out one that I'm reading, which is Oku, The Inner Chambers by Fumi Yoshinaga, which is basically a historical fiction / science fiction comic about the Edo-Gawa period Japan, where men, like the majority of men, have died out thanks to this red plague, and therefore men have become the sex that is like revered, and they are like men have basically taken on the role of women in this society, and women have taken over the positions that used to be filled by men because there aren't enough men to fill them. And this means that the shogun and other like court members are women as well, and men are kept as like concubines for the shogun, and they are kept in the inner chambers, and it looks at this like societal structure and the differences, and it's so good. It's really good. Like, I was kind of skeptical about it because I've seen this kind of trope done many times, but like, trust Fumi Yoshinaga, who is one of my favorite writers, to do justice. I love it so much. Would recommend.
That sounds kind of interesting. I'll have to see if my library has that.
Yeah, I think that because you have said that you don't really like certain types of drawing styles, like, it has a pretty like I would say that it's a little sketchy. It doesn't have like a lot of gray tones. It's more like black and white, kind of like The Girl on the Other Side in terms of contrasting colors used. And the faces are drawn like very simply. It's not like super realistic, but I think you would probably like it more than, let's say, The Promised Neverland, because you had trouble with the art style in that one.
Yeah.
Because that's more like the standard anime-ish style in that series.
That's like a really peak, like, good comic recommendation. Like, if someone can tell you the story, but they can also like remember what you've said about the art style and take that into account, like, I'm like, yes, good recommendation. I mean, I'm not surprised because you talk about comics a lot on your channel, but like, so good. Let's see. Ooh, I wanted to tell you about the tested kitchen thing. It's so dumb.
BA test kitchen?
No, but listen, sometimes, you know, when we see shows coming up on TV that we think the other will enjoy, John and I will say to each other, like, hey, I've seen this, I've saved it to watch together, let's watch with dinner, right? And recently John says to me, oh, on Channel 4 they're doing this show called, like, I think Snackmass or something like that, and it's like basically they ask some like Michelin star chefs to go head-to-head recreating a snack thing. And I was like, oh, so you mean they stole that thing from from Bon Appetit Tested Kitchen, which they totally did, right? Like, it's a great concept. They totally didn't come up with it. But it's also, it makes a really fun show. Like, they had to recreate a Kit Kat, and then they had to recreate a Monster Munch, which, by the way, I've found out that Monster Munch in the UK are a specific thing, and then Monster Munch in France have the same name but different branding, and it's not the same crisp.
What's a Monster Munch?
Yeah,
okay, so a Monster Munch is a snack that exists in the UK, where it's like a little ghost, and it's a little puffy. It's like puffed corn, and it's really adorable and tasty. I don't know. I've not actually had a UK Monster Munch, but in France we have Monster Munch, but they're just crisps. They're just slightly different. I mean, maybe they're puffed corn. I don't know, but they look really different, like the actual shape of them. And the Monster Munch shape in the UK is one of those, like, you know, they won't show you on. They won't like. They have a person in the show that goes to the factory and asks questions to see how stuff is actually made. And in the UK show, when they went to the Monster Munch factory, they were like, yeah, we can't show you the way we can't show you the... it like comes out of a machine, and there's a little cutter at the end of the machine where the batter comes out to make the shape, and they wouldn't show it to you. They were like, no, we can't show you that, actually. They had to like dismantle the machine and make it work without that part to like show the insides of it, because they were like, this is a very important trade secret.
What's puff corn?
So puff, like, basically, so it's a cornmeal type of thing, right? So they use cornmeal and water, and they make a paste that is corn based, and then they puff it up by getting it out. Yeah, it's kind of Cheeto-like. It's in a great big machine, and it's in a pressure vat, and it's extruded out of the pressure vat, like at high pressure, and that makes it puff up.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like
So
Rice
is it
Krispies
like a
in
potato
texture.
ball?
Sorry?
Is it like a potato ball?
No.
Like, you know, those potato chips that are shaped like a ball?
Oh, I mean, maybe...
Maybe it's a Finnish thing.
know. I don't know. I'm sorry, Rhea. It's like...
Yeah, have you had like
it's
a Rice
like a
Krispie
Cheeto.
treat? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Rice Krispies or Cheetos.
Okay.
So there you go.
Doesn't sound appetizing. If I'm going to be really honest.
It's mostly a vehicle
You
for
did
sugar.
not sell me on it.
Yeah. I wonder if... Anyway, so the thing about this show as well is... Oh, hello, Soren!
Kitty.
Hi. Oh, nice.
Aww.
Good kitten. I was recording podcasts earlier today with Jen, who's my best friend IRL, and she has a cat called Nimbus, who is a very, very loud purble. And he was literally like lying down next to her, and at various points in the show, I could like pick it up while she was talking. I was like, Jen talking, Nimbus burning. So.
Speaking of cats, I told you in our DMs, but we did put in an inquiry for a third cat, and are now waiting for like a reply, and hopefully we will be adopting a third son at some point.
I'm so excited.
Listen, another friend of mine also just got a kitten, and I'm getting those kitten pictures in my like WhatsApp, and I'm just like, I can't.
One of my friends here, she just got 2 new kittens, and she already has like a big fluffy husky collie mix and an older cat. And the 2 kittens, so one is named Percy.
Oh my god!
Because he purrs, and he's like this reckless little scam. He's gonna be big. And then the other one, her name is Esther, and she's just like this little gray ball of lint. And like she was so, because I saw them like the first day Rachel got them, and Esther was like just so shy and like hiding behind the toilet and like I don't know what's going on and I don't like it. And she's like gotten so much more social and she's just like super cute. And I feel bad for the older cat, Miss Cleo, because she's just like, I did not ask for this.
Did anybody see? So Andrea from Infinite Text adopted a cat and then 2 days later went and adopted a kitten. Because she was like having the cat so much.
About Humbert, about the idea of naming a cat
Humbert. Oh my God.
At Worldcon. And then as soon as she got home, she got the cat.
But then it was like 40.
What's the kitten?
The kitten's name is Cthulhu. But she didn't think to do the cat Thulu, which would be the appropriate like pun. And I mostly was just like, oh man, 2 cats within like 48 hours.
But I think
Andrea got the other cat also because Humbert was. This feels so wrong. Calling it Humbert. Anyway, I think she got the other cat because Humbert was being really like shy, and then she got the kitten specifically to kind of have company.
Socialize him.
Yeah. Humbert was I think kind of abused before, and he was really not fond of human beings. But apparently he loves kittens. So
I've seen
kittens other than Miss Cleo. Miss Cleo does not seem to love kittens.
I mean, I'm sure that when we get our third cat, Hedda will not be pleased. I have already made a plan of socializing. So because we will have to keep the new cat in another room, then we are going to socialize him with Tesla first because Tesla most likely won't mind, and then Hedda will move to the bedroom, and then we will re-socialize them with her because she's the most difficult one.
You need a plan. It's good to have a plan.
Yeah,
for those things. Where were we at? Does anybody? I've said a media thing that I like, which is Snackmass, which was stolen from Tested Kitchen. Do you want to talk about a media thing that's going on?
Basically, for me, is BA Test Kitchen. I start because someone I follow on Tumblr had just started watching the Gourmet Makes things, and then Preeti Chibber had also, I think, started watching them recently. And so I started watching the Gourmet Makes video, and I would die for Claire Saffitz. She's amazing. But basically, so they have like a bunch of different shows, and the one I've been watching is this. So Claire Saffitz like went to Harvard, was like, I need a break, went to France to enroll in culinary school with a focus on pastry, and then was like, I'm not done with school, and then went to McGill University in Montreal to get her master's in history. And then she was working at Bon Appetit, and her video series is a gourmet chef or pastry chef attempts to make gourmet snack food.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because like at various points she's just like, why am I doing this? This is dumb. But I'm going to keep doing this. And like anytime she has to temper chocolate is hysterical because she hates tempering chocolate so much. And they like have
his a pain in the butt.
And they have like sad music that they play whenever it happens.
Nice.
And they'll like do flashbacks to the previous time she's had to temper chocolate.
And Chris being like, I think you need to temper that chocolate.
Well, and then like, so her and the other big like Test Kitchen star, Brad, just have like such inverse big sibling energy. So she is like the very tired big sister who like, if you need help on a craft project, she will help you with the craft project and be very happy. And if you have like a problem, she'll like come up with lists of like ways you can solve the problem. Whereas Brad is like the chaotic, goofy big brother who
doesn't measure anything. Like
no. And so he like, if Claire is like the head, he's the heart, and he's just like, yes. I believe in you, and also I don't know what I'm doing. And Claire, you don't know how to drive a 5-speed.
I don't know how to drive anything.
Anyway, they're great. I highly recommend them. They're all on YouTube.
I was gonna ask you if you'd watched the ones with Brad because he's a joy.
Yeah, Brad is hilarious. And like I said, I love like the complimentary yet inverse big sibling energy that both Claire and Brad have.
Sorry. Oh no. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I had to stitch that one funny. Okay. Rachel, have you been like watching anything while you were making socks, or is it just all audiobooks all the time?
I have been watching a lot of crochet podcasts on YouTube, and that's pretty much it. Like, all of the podcasters in the fiber community are doing Vlogtober.
Oh yeah,
is that what it's called? So I'm basically living for
every month.
Yeah, I'm living for Little Drops of Wonderful's Vlogtober installments, and that's yep. A little bit boring, but I'm obsessed. So.
Oh my god. Okay, I need to stop. I'm sorry. You're all super interesting, and I'm really tired.
Okay.
Sorry, I was like yawning like an asshole.
It's okay. Is anybody else gearing up for Disney Plus because they're going to have The Mandalorian and I can't handle my own life?
Oh my
because
God.
They're having The Mandalorian and they're doing Moon Girl versus Devil Dinosaur.
And Kamala Khan and Olive Gargoyles is going to be on there. And You.
And they're partnering. They're bundling it with Hulu so you can have like It's Always Sunny and all of your adult like TV show loves. So I'm
like I don't want Disney Plus. Like Disney is consuming everything. Like it's like that carpet alien from that one animated series I watched as a kid, where they land on a planet that's filled with carpet, and then the carpet alien just wants everyone to wash it and brush it. And Disney is the same. Like,
we need to pause so that you can tell me more about this carpet that just wants people to wash and brush it.
Yeah, Are you sure it wasn't a really large cat?
It was an animated series, like in the early 2000s, I think. I know for a fact that it was British. Everyone had a British accent, and it's about this like crew that go in like a Hugo statue shaped ship. And they go on different planets, and the captain is a complete douche.
I love that you're like the rocket ship is shaped like there's a ward that's shaped like a rocket ship. I love you. Your brain is delightful, and I love it.
But that's the first thing that came to mind.
No, I get it, but it's delightful nonetheless.
It does a good job of portraying like basic bitch rocket shape design.
But they go like on different planets, and the captain is a complete idiot, and every person on the crew like does the like they do the job, and the captain is kind of like, like I'm a great captain, and no, he isn't. He's just like
an idiot.
He's an idiot, and he's like the original Zap Brannigan, basically. And my favorite episode is the one where they go on this planet, and there's this alien life form that's a carpet, and it first is like super small, but once they start like washing it and stuff, for some reason I don't remember how they do that, but it starts like growing, and in the end it takes over the whole planet, and they have to leave. And there's like and the episode ends in like really sad music because the carpet planet is like not getting anyone to wash it anymore because there's no one else on the planet, and it's like like sad music.
Wow.
Do you ever just wonder, like, thinking back on kid shows from when you were little, like, how high were these writers? Just
I know, right?
Very
so high.
So good. It was so good. I still can't remember the name of that show, but every time I've talked to like a couple of my friends, I'm like, do you remember this? And they're like, yes, but nobody remembers what it was called. They remember the channel where it was airing.
Like in the 80s and 90s, I guess, someone in France must have bought like a bunch of a bunch of Japanese anime for really cheap, but like we had some of the like really good one, but we also had some really random stuff. Like I remember very clearly an animated show called Samurai and Pizza Cat.
Yes, Samurai Pizza Cats.
There you go. No one in the UK
show.
remembers Samurai and Pizza Cat, but
That's
it had
so-
some of my favorite things.
That's
So
so ridiculous. I loved it.
Is this
I
just like
also-
the UK version of when Adult Swim got all of the anime and so everybody just stayed up and watched that?
Well, no,
I
like it
guess.
was, Fox Kids was the one that had Samurai Pizza Cats in the US.
Yeah, they did
yeah.
like some really interesting localizing choices with a bunch of the animes. Like One Piece, they changed like character skin colors and stuff like that. You know, to make them less racist. Let's whitewash the black characters.
Well, you know,
and
in
stuff like that.
France, in France, they did you know how in the US the lesbians on Sailor Moon are cousins.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
just
yes,
love
that's-
each other so much because they're cousins.
Yeah.
And
well,
in
the
France,
Swedish anime, they made one of the characters a woman in Sailor Moon to get rid of the gay romance.
Well, Zoisite, yeah.
no,
Yeah.
but
In the-
they're all women. In the French
No,
version,
no.
they made one character a dude so that it wasn't queer.
Tuxedo Mask.
no,
In the
first season, Zoisite, because all the Dark Kingdom generals are dudes, and in the 90s anime,
Zoisite for some reason in the dub.
I can't
is
hear
up.
both of you at the same time.
Sorry. I'm so excited. I'm sorry.
I need to rewatch Sailor Moon.
it's on Hulu. The 90s anime is on Hulu with a new dub, which is great. I've been watching it.
So what were you saying about the first season?
Oh, so in the first season, that was when they changed a character to a woman. So Zoisite in the 90s anime is in a relationship with Kunzite, and they couldn't have it be gay in the 90s in the dub. So they made Zoisite a woman, which was easy to do, I guess, because Zoisite has very long hair and is kind of an effeminate, just characteristics.
Except that he has a very male-esque body.
Yeah. Anyway, so they made Zoisite a dude or a woman to have it be gay.
There's a different one that's lesbians in the original. That was
Haruka
definitely one of them was a dude. Yeah, one of them was a dude in the French version for sure. Because I remember hearing about the lesbian cousins, and I was like, there was lesbian.
Hey, what about the Sailor Stars? Who are an idol, who are an all-male idol group who turn into women and are kind of sort of metaphor for transgender characters, and they were changed into full-on women, which was probably very hard to do considering some of the characters look very Naoko Takeuchi has a very distinct style of drawing male characters. They're like an inverted triangle, basically. So yeah.
Yeah. One that there was some really interesting, interesting gender stuff, but one show that I remember seeing when I was a kid, it was on all the time. And people who know this will be shrieking, but we had the Rose of Versailles on for a super long time. Yeah, that's queer as fuck.
Oh, it's queer
so queer.
And the manga just got licensed in English, so I'm finally getting a legal copy of the manga. It's coming in hardcovers. I have been waiting for this for 20 years.
Oh, I'm so happy. I need to remember to order that. That's really lovely. The Rose of Versailles, by the way, the Rose of Versailles is an anime about
the French court.
yeah, the French court and whatever, but the French stuff is really nonsensical. So let's, it's under Marie Antoinette, and basically the main character is assigned female at birth and is raised as a boy by their dad. I guess I don't know how to really talk about it because the show was very like kind of metaphorical about being kind of a trans/queer thing, maybe genderqueer, because that in the show, this like the character embraces a lot of like masculinity as well as femininity, and it's very kind of like playful in that way, I guess. But
both in the show and the manga, she has a huge struggle about like because the role of a man brings her a lot of privilege and stuff that she wouldn't be able to do if she were a woman, but also she feels a lot of the time very like uncomfortable with the role of a man because she doesn't feel like a man.
Yeah,
and there are points when characters figure out that she is a woman because she isn't very front up about it. For example, I remember that Count Fersen figures out that she is a woman, and then she gets like really pissed off about it, that his attitude towards her changes after.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of commentary about that. It's so good.
And yeah, Jinx points out that it used to be called Lady Oscar on Swedish TV. It also used to be called Lady Oscar on French TV as well. And yeah, but like the credits of that show, right? At least the ones that we had, the credits of the show is literally like God assigning gender to like row of babies, and like then like someone like I guess like a tiny demon comes around and like changes one of the genders just to fuck things up. And like
I've never seen that.
That
isn't in the original Japanese.
Anyway, it's a very queer
That's
show.
So weird. I remember that the Finnish dub of Rose of Versailles taught me a lot about various types of vocabulary that my mom probably didn't want me to learn at a young age. For example, there is this scene where people are explaining, I think, to Marie Antoinette about Lady du Barry. And one of the characters says that a whore is a woman who sells herself for money in like Finnish. And my mom was knitting in the background and she just goes, what? So, when we were watching that scene,
this is like the most that always happens, right? Like it's the most inopportune moment. But I remember, and I wasn't all that young. I must have been in high school, but I remember at some point I needed to watch tonight's episode of Buffy because I needed to, right? And so my parents were watching something in the living room. They had a TV in their room, so I was like, can I go lounge on the bed and like watch TV, which was pretty sweet. And so they let me because I did watch Buffy fairly religiously. And then my mom came to pick something up, right, in the middle of the episode, except it was the one episode where Buffy and Riley get trapped in the house that makes them fuck for the entire episode. You know that shot when they're on the bed and then the camera goes up and turns? That is what she walked in on. But she's French, so she didn't give a fuck.
So, Love Actually...
She was like, what is your show, Claire?
So, Love Actually, the subplot of Martin Freeman and the sex scene. So I had a bunch of friends over and we were watching Love Actually as like a holiday movie. Mm-hmm. And I swear to God, every time my moms would walk in was during those scenes.
How old were you?
I was in high school when this happened.
Yeah, I know. That movie came out when I was like, But
it was just so awkward.
Yeah. Like, it's super awkward whether or not they're mad about it, right? Like, oh dear. Anyway, fun times.
It's so weird because, like, in Finland, there's like like I don't know if it's like, because I know that in, for example, nudity is something that is very like taboo in North Americas and stuff. But in Finland, there's like this thing where there's a lot of like PG nudity. Like, for example, you can have full frontal nudity in a PG movie because we have such a clear like difference between non-sexual nudity and sexual nudity because of, you know, the whole sauna culture and stuff. So,
oh God.
So for the longest time, I had like, I didn't understand what the big deal was when people would get freaked out about like getting naked in front of strangers and stuff like that. For example, when we would have like British or Australian relatives and their friends come over, and they would be really shocked, and they would go to the sauna in a bathing suit, and we would be like, well, that's weird. Just take everything off. It's completely fine.
Yeah, I have to say I didn't have as much of a problem as all that going to the sauna when I was in Finland for like organizing Helsinki Worldcon, because like if I take my glasses off, I can see nothing. So I was like, everyone's a pink blob. Nice.
Speaking of Worldcon, I think I'm going to try and
nice segue.
Nice, less naked segue. Please go ahead.
Basically, I really want to see y'all, and I also want to do something big for my 30th birthday next year, so I figure New Zealand.
Ooh, 30th birthday? I mean, if we all manage to get to like New Zealand, I mean, we should definitely host you a real party.
Okay.
Proper.
Like, seriously.
I'm here for it.
It's totally.
I mean, I'm always up for a party.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry, I'm looking for the weird like the credits for Lady Oscar because I'm like, I didn't make this the fuck up, okay?
I want to see that because we had the opening credits were the ones where she's in the meadow with her like uniform, and then she's also like trapped in the rose bushes.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and
anyway,
then
never mind. I'll look for that and then I'll message it to you. I'll put it in chat. Something will happen. New Zealand, though. Like, who is everybody gonna try?
Yes.
I mean, I already have the membership, so you know.
Same.
Yeah, I need to buy the membership.
I'm trying.
I mean, the membership is the less expensive expense.
Like,
I mean,
do we have to start figuring out hotel rooms now? I'm getting anxious already.
They are going to announce the con hotels in like December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to maybe sell out less fast than the US cons. Yeah. I think because like if it's really tricky for people to go to, I mean, obviously that sucks. But
well, except for people who are in Australia and China and Singapore.
Of course.
Well, like everybody got very taken aback with Helsinki because they released the accommodation stuff to members like a couple of weeks after the previous Worldcon had ended, and everybody was like, oh my God, we weren't ready for this. And ever since then, I'm just like really worried about having all my plans made. But I feel like I need to figure out all the excursions I want to do first, because there's always that potential of staying, at the hotel convention during the convention, but needing to book other things if I'm traveling or whatever.
Yeah. I was thinking that during the con, I would like to try and get the convention center deal for the hotel, but like I was thinking about going outside of Wellington. I mean, I will probably have to fly to Wellington because that's the only place Finland does fly. But I want to see the Hobbiton.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody say that the Hobbiton thing is like 6 hours away by train, and we could take the train to go see him? Like that would be such a great maybe 2-day thing. Like take a little.
I did say that.
Yeah, and Andrea.
I mean, the thing with the train, right? The thing with the train is that I think it's like one train per day, so you have to like figure out around that because it's like it's not an actual train that people take; it's a touristy train. So, but I figured it would be a really nice thing to have, like, as well, like in a vlog, and if you want to have a little break so you can read, and or maybe if you've taken some footage and you want to edit it and stuff, like that would be nice to like have something where it makes you sit down, but it's also still a fun part of it.
I think there's going to be a restaurant, like something from the trolley, dear, you know?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
But I also really, really want to see some of the actual country, because I had so much fun doing the hike.
I already looked at some of the national parks.
I want to go to like a New Zealand state park or something like that. I want to see.
I've already looked at a couple. There's some that are really close to like Wellington, like a bus drive away. And then there's one that's like located almost on the other side of the island.
I want to see reptiles and bugs.
What's that?
I think I want to see bugs.
So Shannon says cars might make sense for New Zealand outside of Wellington. Not sure, but that's my expectation. I wonder if people are gonna want to like maybe rent a car or something. I don't know. I don't drive, so
I would be fine with renting a car, but it's also driving on the wrong side of the road for me, so that's like a little nerve-wracking.
So which side, left or right?
Left.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it left in New Zealand?
I think it is.
Well, it used to be a British colony, probably.
I mean, Canada technically used to be a British colony, but we drive on the correct side of the road. So.
Yes, the correct side. Correct.
Whatever.
Like anyway, I need to make like a list of all the stuff I want to see, and then like sit down with Google Maps for a day, like I did with Dublin, and figure out where things are, and like I have to know how many days for each thing, and that will tell me hotels and stuff like that.
Well, and like I would love to go to the South Island and do
I'll make another spreadsheet.
But I don't know how feasible that's going to be.
Sorry, Di, which island do you?
So Wellington's on the North Island, and that's where Hobbiton is. But on the South Island, apparently there's whale watching, and I would love to do that. But I also don't know how feasible that's going to be.
Yeah. I'm trying to see, my partner is thinking about coming with, which would be his first time outside of the States. And so we're like, it depends on how long I stay, depends on whether he comes or not. Because I think we would want to spend more time if he came.
I mean,
I don't know how long I'm going to manage, because I've got the days of leave, but I just don't know how long I can leave for, because it's, if I leave, the company is 50% of the workforce down. So
isn't travel to New Zealand for most people going to be like 40 to 60 hours?
It's going to be long.
23.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like I have to plan maybe
like 24.
Hold on, I'm gonna
whole days for going out and then coming back, and then try to smash everything else. And like I'm thinking I'm probably have to take like 2 solid weeks off from work. Maybe
I mean, I
can swing it.
I was thinking about 2 weeks as a minimum. I'd love to do 3. I just don't know how doable that is in terms of work for me. But I think 2 has to be like. I mean, obviously it's really hard, and plenty of people can't really do it, and plenty of people, don't really have jobs that will let them take like a lot of time together. But I don't really know.
And for me, what will probably like I can take the time off work. I'll have the time. But I don't want to travel alone, so I don't want to like stay longer than other people.
I'm thinking like currently about like 14 days. It's like my 2 weeks, and if possible, I would take like extra days for the actual flight so that I can have more time in the actual like destination.
Right. So 2 weeks to do stuff, and then 4 to 6 days for the travel.
But I will have to see whether I have a job.
So I just looked up travel for me, and like I know I'm on the West Coast, that kind of shortens it, but it's like less than 24 hours.
I think mine is like 20. I mean, I think it depends like how long you stop for and stuff, because I don't think it's possible to do it from London with fewer than 2 stops anyway, because it's like literally the other side of the world.
Yeah. So for me, I think it would be Portland to either LA, or San Francisco, and then from there to Wellington, or maybe Seattle to Wellington. Anyway, but I don't know if I could do the full 2 weeks, just because like I need to hoard vacation anyway, and celebrations also later that month, which I already am going to. So
that's the big that's Star Wars celebrations.
Yep, gonna go be a Star Wars.
I have like the thing because like Tesla has diabetes.
Oh
so partner was thinking that if he will have like vacation time and finances in order and stuff, depends on whether I will have a job and whether I can manage to like graduate in May as I should be doing. But they also have been like toying with the idea of coming along, which means that we would have to get like a sitter for Tesla who can do the insulin stuff.
Yeah.
So that's also
hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also worried because when I left for Dublin, I mean, I don't know. It's starting to stabilize, but Tabby's like health in general hasn't been the greatest this year, and she's a little bit older. And when I went to Dublin, she was very fussy about eating the entire time I was gone. So I'm slightly worried about that.
Yeah.
The nice thing about Soren is that he just like someone walks through the door and he decides they're his new best friend. So I've never had to worry about him being okay.
Yeah.
My dog does that with other people, but she doesn't do well at the vets when I board her at the vets. So my parents just moved and they are 2 blocks away from me, and I'm like, could I just leave my dog at my place and you come over and take care of her every day? Because they have a cat who hates dogs, so they can't keep her. I'm like, you're only 2 blocks away. You can do it now. You can save me like $200.
I would do that in order to see a dog every day, but
I mean, my mom does that for my sister. Like my sister has 2 like wolf husky mixes,
nice.
and my mom is basically their go-to dog sitter. She's basically a live-in dog sitter whenever my sister goes to like overseas to do the tattoo spotting stuff.
How's your sister holding up, by the way? How's your sister holding up, by the way? Is new parentage doing okay?
It's like there's been some issues. The baby is adorable. Like he looks like an old man, like a gnome. You could just put a beard on him and he would like fit the bill perfectly.
Like that should be his
Halloween costume.
Yeah, but like there's like the delivery wasn't the best. And there's been like some postpartum depression stuff.
Yeah, that's hard.
But my mom has basically been helping them out. She's been like living with them and helping out with the baby. And I'm going there next week for a few days to kind of try to help her out so that she can get a full night's rest once in a while.
Oh, that is good. That is really good. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm looking at these flights and
they're super long.
So expensive.
I have this feeling that maybe sometime in November, before the convention stuff starts coming out, we should probably get the BookTube SFF people together on like a Skype call or something and make some plans, because as Shannon's been saying, like meeting up at a place for some of us, like all flying out of the same place in the US, San Francisco or whatever, you have to decide and then get your flights around that.
I would recommend San Francisco because LAX is a hellhole where dreams go down.
I don't want to go anywhere near LAX, and I don't want to go anywhere near New York or whatever that one is. So yeah.
Pretty much in the States, if you're flying to Australia or New Zealand, you're most likely going to be flying out of the West Coast. So that mostly means LAX, San Francisco, or Seattle. And I don't know if Seattle has flights to New Zealand, so my guess it's mostly going to be SFO or LAX. And like I said, LAX is awful.
Yeah, that might be one where I should drive to you and we leave in the same spot.
Or maybe, yeah.
Like, I mean,
the nice thing though is that the airports for you and me, Bree, it's like really easy to hop back and forth. So, like, I would have no problems doing that. But then I hate driving. If you have to have me drive more than 4 hours, I'm just
Shannon
no.
is saying that San Francisco is probably best.
Like, we definitely need to figure things out, because like I would really want to see everybody and like hop on the same flight and stuff. But also like I'm like I need to figure out what's the best way to, like, from Finland, because New Zealand is literally the opposite side of the thing.
Mhm.
My guess
is it better to like fly straight or fly to the US and stuff?
No, my guess is for you, Rhea, you're most likely going to be flying to like Frankfurt and then probably to like somewhere like Qatar or something, or Dubai, and then from there to New Zealand.
Just do Helsinki to Wellington flights in Google and then see what Google says. Because Google flights will usually, give you a good idea of the prices and when you have to stop.
I mean, Finnair flies straight to Wellington. They have straight flights to Wellington where they brain, please. They stop at a certain place to refuel and or change the airplane, but the actual flight.
I mean, because at some point, like, it's literally impossible to fly straight to New Zealand from London or Finland. So it's it'll be some stops. But the question is, will you be able to find something where you're on the same service? Because like I've looked at like BA services where you can get it from one end to the other and everything. Because I was like, if I can buy a thing through BA, that's like you buy it through them completely, and it's all under the same, it's not buying from 3 different airlines or whatever.
Yeah.
Then I can like get points, and then like it'll be expensive this year, but then maybe next year I can fly to the US with a discount or whatever. I need to look into it properly.
Yeah, there was like I can't brain. There was a thing, but no,
that's okay.
It went away.
I know that feeling very well.
But
I knew that feeling
of
so well.
convention stuff.
Yeah.
Guess what I did? I bought my membership to Washington.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Washington is nice because it's gonna be like, I mean, obviously, it's in a while, and it's in a while, and I think a lot of people will be wanting to wait for the result of the election to like figure out if they want to go or not. But
I mean, it was only
but
like
it's actually really
for the voters.
It's actually really good to fly to from a lot of different places is Washington. That's the thing.
I will just say, so most of you, for folks who are flying internationally, you're most likely going to be flying into Dulles, which is far from where the convention's going to be. So like you have Maryland up here, you have DC here, and Virginia here, and Dulles is like over here in Virginia. So I don't know if there's actually going to be the Silver Line at that point. Who knows? The Silver Line at this seems to be a myth that will never actually happen to Dulles.
Yeah.
But there's like buses that go from Dulles that drop you off at the metro, and then you can either cab or take the metro to Cleveland Park where the hotel is. And for people in the States, flying into National is going to be a better one.
I mean, I've already decided Worldcon is gonna be my 1 year, like,
right? Yeah.
One vacation in the year.
Yeah,
Like you have to splurge somewhere, and it's a good one to do. I'm seeing Raya. I'm seeing some flights that are Helsinki to Singapore straight away, and then like from Singapore, it's shorter flights to like Sydney and then Wellington. Like, and you have to do 2 stops. It's not possible to do it with fewer than 2 stops because of the refueling. So it's gonna suck. The traveling is gonna suck. But I'm hoping.
Let's all I'm definitely hoping audiobooks.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely hoping to like get together with some people who are going from London like the entire way. But then maybe, I mean, I'm sure there'll be people from Finland going as well. So
I'm super excited just to see what the shape of fandom looks like when we're in New Zealand, because it's accessible for a bunch of people for whom like a States trip is never going to be accessible.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe like someone like JY Yang is gonna be there. Like maybe they would be able to make the trip from like Singapore.
That'd be super cool.
Also, like Australian authors, like maybe some like Indian like rep, like
That'd be great. That'd
be South Asian.
Yeah, I'm sure the China rep will be huge.
Yeah, for sure.
Also,
still, especially if they're still campaigning.
Also, Shannon and Paul are talking about compression socks, and yes, compression socks are the way to go on long flights.
Amazing. And Shannon recommends Singapore Airlines, so that's a good thing because it keeps showing up for me. So there you go. And also I clicked that by mistake, but compression socks. I mean, obviously, we do definitely want to do a trip to Hobbiton as well. I'm just really interested to like spend some time researching what New Zealanders like think tourists should do that they don't, because I have a feeling some people go and they're just like Hobbit and nothing else, and I want to make sure that I don't let myself fall into that trap. Because I am really into like those LOTR movies, and I can see myself falling in that trap, and I want to make sure I don't do that. And I know that there's like also a lot of Indigenous history as well that might be super interesting to look at. But yeah.
One thing I was thinking about was to maybe like fly in to Auckland and then do like a week of traveling, and then traveling over the week to Wellington, and then like staying over the con, and then leaving from Wellington.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. You just want to be careful when you like book trips like that, because it's going to be more expensive if you're not leaving and coming back from the same place.
Yeah. And that's definitely something that I will want to be on the same page with others, because I am planning this trip as if I'm going alone, because like most likely partner will have to stay with the cats. And so I'm like...
Yeah, my partner hates traveling, so he's not doing 30 hours.
Yeah,
I'm trying to talk one of my best friends into coming.
Traveling.
I'm trying to talk one of my best friends into coming because she has family in New Zealand. So I'm like trying to get her, but she has like other stuff planned, so I don't know if it's going to happen.
Boo all the plans.
I know. How dare she?
Yeah. Well, we're going to also be discussing the video games Hugo proposal in Wellington at the business meeting, because it got kind of... Hey, Ray, do you want to mute your keyboard? It's really loud.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was like, somebody probably... It sounded like a mechanical keyboard, and I was like, that sounds like a Ray thing. I'm sorry.
It's really loud. But also, I'm a very solid typer.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
But yeah.
Rachel, were you going to say something and then you got interrupted?
I was going to ask a question about this con, but it was kind of off topic.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Is there a thing such as on topic here? Like we're just like...
Yeah. I don't know if anybody here voted for DC at the convention. Has anybody gotten an email from them with your membership stuff? Because when you vote, you automatically get the basic membership and then you have to upgrade it. And I
Yeah.
haven't gotten anything, so I can't upgrade to attending yet for Discon.
I haven't, but I didn't vote
think
there.
I have the receipt from when I voted.
Yeah, I have the receipt, but they have.
I don't know that I have the receipt. That's nonsense.
Number and how to log in, and you have to have the information to upgrade. But it's still early days. But I was surprised. By this time last year in San Jose, I'd had it already. So
yeah, I don't know.
They still have time though.
You can probably find like an email for people to like write them.
Yeah,
it says, probably. It says upgrade to attending from convention from like voting.
Yeah,
rights.
that's what I did because I already got mine.
Okay. Maybe I just need to find my receipt.
And Paul is saying he hasn't gotten an email about it yet. So
yeah, me neither.
I don't think I have, and I know for sure that if I ever was given a receipt, I'd keep it because who does that? Who can do that?
Anyway,
yes, my receipt.
Anyway, guys,
I have it foldered like alphabetically. I still have the one when I voted for Dublin in Helsinki too. Like I keep this stuff for like 5 years.
You're supposed to be on my side with losing shit.
I lose other shit.
On my side, Rhea.
I lose other shit. This is the one thing that I get hyper focused on.
Fair enough.
It's because my mom has been teaching me since I was a toddler that you need to keep all the receipts for 5 years at a time.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I whatever. Anyway, what I was thinking is you just like basically go and look up the just send them an email, send registration an email, like registration@discon. They'll have an email address on that page. So
I was just going to say for DC Worldcon, we have to go to the zoo because the convention hotel is literally like right down the street from the zoo. And it's fantastic and it's free.
I love DC so much.
Is the zoo like actually like a good zoo where the animals are like happy and not a misery zoo?
Yeah, no, the Smithsonian Zoo is fantastic. Like it is right up against Rock Creek Park, which is a really nice like walking, driving area. And there's a lot of outdoor exhibits and they have pandas and red pandas, one of whom like escaped. And it was like a big thing in DC, like trying to find this red panda.
I haven't been able to really look at pandas, like zoo pandas, the same way after I learned that all the pandas are basically leased from China and China uses them as diplomacy and sort of like a arm wrestling tool.
Yeah. At the very least, though, I will always feel just like a little bit of joy in pandas pretending to be pregnant to get more food.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Pandas are so dumb. I love them.
I don't know. That's pretty clever.
I mean, that's
pandas. But pandas like they eat bamboo, which they can't really digest. They like don't do anything. Pandas are just like so dumb.
But why would I worry about whether I can digest a thing? It's delicious.
I mean, delicious, Claire.
That's what humans do. That's what humans do all the time. We eat shit that we shouldn't be eating and then complain about getting like stomach aches.
I have a former roommate who like is notorious for being really badly gassy. And like none of us could figure out what was wrong with him until one day he was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm lactose intolerant. I just don't care." And we're like,
"That's come on."
Please care about the rest of the world.
I was like, "You may not care, but I care."
I mean, and on the long run, your digestive system, like really. Like for example, I've had lactose intolerance since I was like 10, and for the longest time, my mom just cooked with regular milk because she just didn't think it would do anything, and now it has caused me to have like severe problems in later life because like I can't handle any sort of like dairy without medication.
Yeah, which is. Seems like really weird that would happen because isn't it like super common in Finland?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have
terrible.
We have
Just
like 10
terrible.
different brands of lactose intolerant milks. And like oat milks and almond milks and coconut milks and rice milks, the usual vegan fare, and then we have like actual lactose-free dairy products because that's the kind of country we are.
Oh my gosh, someone mentioned the baby panda that sneezed and scared its mommy. Which is a great video for anybody who needs some joy.
Moms, have you seen the snow leopard video where the snow leopard pretends to be surprised when the cub is sneaking up on her, and she sees the cub coming, but then she pretends that she's surprised. So
somebody needs to link me that.
I have seen that video a bunch of times with like lions in that, because all cats apparently do it.
Cats I love it. Parents, except when they're not.
Yeah, the DC zoo is great that we're doing that.
I'm definitely doing DC. That I know, because like the flights are like, I just checked like some of the flight deals for like DC and New York right now. 300 euros for direct flights. And I was like,
why is that so expensive the other way around?
America.
I don't know.
Hashtag capitalism.
Fuck capitalism, man.
Seriously.
Hashtag monopolies.
Yeah, there's that too. Let's see. I mean, if it was in August of 2020, which it is not, but if it was about that time, how much would it cost to go to DC? Let's find out together. See, I'm getting flights for like 500 or something like that.
Yeah,
so that's not so bad.
Like 500 is the like regular fare, but I'm always like, I have this there's this Finnish blog called like in English it would be called like Flight Deals, and they regularly will check different sites for various deals and then post about them, so that I'm always up to date when there's like, for example, there was recently like 400 euro flights to Tokyo, and I was like, I would so much want to go.
Yeah, no. I mean, I suppose it's true. It's always possible to find those. I just think there is one
on where the more expensive one.
I mean, obviously, the question is whether you are able to like save for it in like a safe manner, right? That makes sense. But since I am now in a position where I can like save a little bit and have a bit of wiggle room, I would always rather like pay a tiny bit more to have a non-stop flight if it doesn't make like a huge, like.
There's also the difference between like getting those reduced prices. The major difference is that you most likely can't cancel them and get refunds. That's the major deal. They are cheap because you can't do anything about it if you can't actually go on the flight.
Right.
You most likely can change the person, like you can kind of change the person who's actually going on the flight and stuff and do it that way. But usually you're like fucked if you can't actually go or you get sick or something. Whereas in the more expensive flights, you always have some sort of like for example, on Finnair, you can actually like pay like $20 extra, and then you can like have a full refund on the flight if you can't make it or something like that.
Nice. Yeah. And that's always worth doing for your peace of mind,
Yeah,
there's like more services for the money that you're paying.
You can add like flight insurance or travel insurance in the States. Like sometimes if you book through Expedia, like I'm pretty sure I did that when I booked my tickets home for Christmas, just because I'm going to be dealing with short connections and shitty weather.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Yeah, it's gonna be Expensive, very expensive. I mean, there are resources, like.
But it's also probably going to be so epic and awesome, and I'm gonna take so many pictures and so much video, and I
for sure.
And have people take pictures of me in the actual New Zealand space. Like, look, I was there.
No, it's going to be amazing. Like, I'm just like tired thinking about the money.
And then someone will come and say, you were just squeezed in.
Yeah.
The only thing that really stresses me out about the money is that you have to pay the large chunk of it up front for the accommodation and the airfare. It's like I don't have nearly as much time to save for it as I think I do.
Yeah.
If you have to do it maybe in like January, February, March, like that's not very long from now.
I'm like hoping that I can have things settled on February, because then I have my birthday coming up and I can just like maybe ring my dad and be like, do you love me? Please?
Yeah, I'm hoping that
I have talked to my parents about it, actually. Like, part of me wants to convince my parents to go to New Zealand. Like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. My dad would like to go, but my mom is much less.
So what everybody should do is we all nominate Rachel's channel for Hugo, and then they have to go.
Yes.
Because
there is that. Yeah, I mean, if I did get nominated, that would be a little bit of leverage to make them go.
Just a little bit, like
yeah.
So by the way, in case you didn't know, BookTube channels are eligible for Best Fancast, and we're on that train again. It's
we're
been a couple
the
months
early this year,
so let's start again. Yeah, well, there's the spreadsheet, the 2020 Hugo eligibility spreadsheet that Renee has been doing for a few years over the Lady Business. That is going for the coming year. So that's where people put suggestions of things that they would like to nominate for next year's Hugos. And then, like, if you don't know what's eligible, you can go and have a look and get some ideas. It's really cool. It's somewhere. I shall find it and link it. Someone else talk while I do that.
Oh my gosh. I have a question. What's everyone's favorite witchy read?
Ooh.
Yeah. It's a hard question.
It is a hard question. Fuck.
But I figure if we're going to be witch themed, we need to at least answer.
Yeah,
like,
no,
what
totally
is a witch book?
that.
I will think on it while I go find my computer charger, because my computer is going to die soon.
I missed something. I was so intent on checking what is going on Twitter. Sorry.
What's a witchy book recommendation that you have?
So I want to keep shouting forever about this book that I read for the Claire Witch Project, which is called Waking the Witch by Pam Grossman, and it's a cultural history of witches and witchcraft, and it's this like kind of memoir about her and her discovering, like, witchcraft and Wicca and that kind of thing. Like, so it goes through her life and how she became a practitioner of the witch and religion.
Yeah, I'm okay. I just unbalanced my computer, and hopefully it's fine, because it's.
Oh, well, we can all.
Okay, no,
Sorry. They should not be this funny.
And I'm really hoping my computer is okay, because like
you're streaming fine still.
Well,
it's more if I'm worried about the hard drive, because like I've had a bad case where I dropped a computer and my hard drive kind of collapsed. But this is solid state, so hopefully,
yeah, it should be more stable.
Yeah,
it should be more stable.
Anyway.
Yes.
What was that you were saying though, Claire? What was the book name?
Waking the Witch, reflection on women in witchcraft and power, but I shall double check. It's Waking the Witch by Pam Grossman, and it's partly a memoir and partly a cultural history of the figure of the witch. It's really great. I listened to the audiobook, which she reads, which is always fun, and it is like it goes through, how Frank L. Baum came up with the witches in the Wizard of Oz, which is really interesting because his mother-in-law was this badass suffragist, and like how Waking the Witch: Reflection on Women, Magic, and Power by Pam Grossman, and it's really interesting. It goes through like a lot of that history, and it includes like here we go. I'm putting a link in the chat for the Goodreads page, but it's basically like, and she goes through looking at like the first Wizard of Oz movie and like the portrayal of like having a good witch for the first time, and like she looks at stuff like The Craft and OG Sabrina and stuff like that. And
I love The Craft so much.
Yeah, and it's just really cool. It's just a really cool book, and I find it really interesting. And she talks about like who gets to call themselves witches and who, like, how, you know, the way we identify. So it is cool. And yeah, I'm gonna either do a wrap-up video or like a live stream where I talk specifically just about the witch books that I've been reading. But it's probably going to be early November because I need to finish some stuff.
I'm into that. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I just recently, I haven't wrapped it up yet, but I read All the Bad Apples by Moira Fowley Donnelly, Moira Fowley Doyle, and that has some really interesting like witchy vibes, and it deals with women's history in Ireland, especially the Magdalene houses that women were forced to go to for basically free labor while they were pregnant with like illegitimate children and stuff, and also the women having to go to England to get abortions legally and stuff. So it deals with a lot of that stuff, and it also deals with like family curses, and it has a queer protagonist, and like it wasn't the perfect book. It reads a bit young. It is a young adult novel, but I still would recommend it. It deals with very sensitively with a lot of like important topics, historically speaking. And it's also got a lot of like witchy vibes. They are going through the Irish moors and stuff. So,
can you say the title again?
All the Bad Apples by Moira Fowley Doyle.
I haven't read that one by her, but I read one of her earlier books.
Have you read the Spellbook of the Lost and Found?
That's the one that I read.
Yeah, I have it, and I want to read it.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in the chat for people. Bookish linguist wanted to know, is Practical Magic good? By Alice Hoffman. Does anyone know? I'm currently reading it now. I am like not very far along, but they have just I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler because that movie has been seen many times and is old. But the dead dude who was an asshole has just turned up. So Jillian has just turned up with a dead asshole in her car, and it's interesting. Like it really like the book feels really different from the movie.
Yeah.
Like, for one thing, it's not set in the house with the ants. Like where I am right now, like Sally's moved out of the house of the big house with the ants, and she's not lived there for a super long time.
Yeah.
And like the one thing that I would say so far is like it feels a little bit like slut shaming in some parts, because it's like love is so powerful and dangerous, and if women want love and they want to cast like they want to like use magic for love, then their lives will all be miserable. And on the one hand it's like, yeah, because they're using love curses and that shit is roofies and it's bad, but also like so far the book seems very much like the problem is with the wanting the thing as opposed to the problem is with the means that you are using to achieve the thing. And maybe it's part of the learning curve. Maybe by the end they learn different. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll and they haven't done the thing yet where, like, you know how in the film she makes this like made up curse when she's a kid, like to not lose her husband or whatever, and then the kids find it. Like it's not happened yet, and also the kids are terrible to each other. It's so weird, like how different it is. Like one of the kids is straight up like, this child is a bully. That's what the text says. And I'm just like, it's very strange. because they're very young in the film, and like she's 16 and a terrible bully apparently. It's like, what is going on? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I listened to it on audio because a sequel to it came out 2 years ago.
They're making a series of that, or a film, I think.
They're making a prequel that follows the ants, I think.
Right, but that's the book that came out a few years ago, isn't it?
Yeah, I have it on audio, I think. I can look through. By the way, just fun fact, it's not about witches, but Carmilla is an Audible download that's free this month.
Yes.
And if you have, it's the first sexy vampire.
Lesbian
vampires.
Cast. It's a full cast audio of Carmilla, and if you have an Audible subscription, you can get it for free because it's an Audible original this month.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll have a look. I tried reading Carmilla at some point and it was... Sorry, I tried to read Carmilla at some point and I just could not get on with the text. It was like really like weirdly written. Like the prose was very dense and strange. So I don't know, maybe I'll try it since it's free.
And since it has David Tennant.
Yeah. I mean, like, he's good at acting.
Yeah.
I like him as an... He seems like a nice person. His wife is funny on social media. He's good at acting. People seem to like him a lot more than I do. I don't dislike him. I just like him a normal amount.
I mean, I like him in the Jessica Jones.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Fright Night, the Fright Night remake.
I've not seen that. But I haven't watched his run on Doctor Who almost at all. So I have no, like, everyone is like, oh my God, Tennant is the best Doctor. And I'm like,
he is.
I've not forgiven Tennant for Donna yet.
So, side rant,
Justice for Donna.
Justice for Donna, and also I'm like, I know I'm in the minority for this. I really don't like Ten and Rose. I found the whole thing very annoying.
I just don't like Rose.
I like Rose and Nine's relationship, but I found 10 and Rose to be not well written, and Russell T Davies has this unfortunate thing where he has like his favorite female character and nothing bad will ever happen to that character, and she doesn't really grow, and that is Rose. And I also have not forgiven RTD for how he fucked with Martha.
Yeah, same.
So, like, people will like the whole like Moffat is not great. Like, I will fully admit Moffat is shit when it comes to women, but like Russell T Davies was just better at hiding his misogyny.
That's true. And also, like, Russell T Davies, I don't know if it's just like the way he interacted with the fandom, but like it's just that Moffat is like not just bad, but he's also really smug about the fact that he thinks you're wrong about, and I'm sure he gets loads and loads of like actual terrible abuse and blah 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 blah. Probably not like tons of it because he's not a woman on the internet, but you know, like I'm sure that by the time it filters up to him, it's like up to 11, and I'm sure it makes sense that like what he gets to see would end up being like the super edge cases of people that are like really taking it overboard, but he's just really unpleasant in the way he talks about it. You know? I don't want to. Other people are also good writers and then nicer than you.
Yeah, like I don't want to excuse Moffat because Moffat is like pretty terrible, but I also like whenever I would see people put RTD on a pedestal during Moffat's run, I would just get so angry because I'm like, are you forgetting how he fucked over Donna? Are you forgetting how badly, like, he had 10 treat Martha and how, like, yes, we get that final, like, I'm choosing me, Martha moment, which was amazing. But also, like, they're like, well, we're going to have Martha not once, but twice get stuck in the past where she's dealing with racist society and has to take care of 10.
Remember how he... like,
but emotional labor
in a
is
situation where she was literally like a house servant.
Oh yeah.
When she's the one who's the actual fucking doctor.
Yeah. So yeah, fuck Russell T Davies.
Justice for Martha, justice for Donna.
Justice for Yanto, Tosh, and fine, Owen.
I have actually not really watched Torchwood properly, so
Torchwood,
but I trust your judgment on
it is what it is. I do love it. I love Jack and Yanto. I love Tosh. I think if I rewatched it, I would actually like Gwen this time because I was 19 and did not like Gwen when I saw it for the first time.
Yeah.
And here I am, and I'm only familiar with the Eccleston run of Doctor Who.
Okay, you are probably better off.
It's really good though, the Eccleston one. Like he's
Eccleston's, I think, my favorite Doctor.
I love Nine.
Yeah, same.
He was criminally underused, and I miss him.
Yeah, and also he was treated so poorly by the BBC when he left that show. Like he wanted to do one season of that show, and he didn't want to stay, so he didn't get typecast. And like after choosing to leave that show, he had to move to the US because he couldn't get work in the UK because the BBC was like pissed off with him. It was bad. It was super bad. Like he's done interviews about it since now because it's been so long. It was really fucking bad.
That's not
that explains why
he's never shown up.
He's not in a lot of like UK
That's why he's not in the like things where you get like 3 or 4 doctors at the same time. It's because, So anyway, I love him and he's hot, so
lots of planets have a North, Claire.
Yeah. I hate to interrupt the Doctor Who talk, but we're at 2 hours and I have to leave pretty soon. So
sorry.
Yeah. I don't know if we need to do any wrap up stuff before I go.
Let's okay. We are on Rachel's channel next month. Thank you, Rachel, for allowing me to change the schedule and take over so that my channel could have the Halloween special.
Of all of us, I'm the only person here who doesn't have a witch aesthetic, apparently. I just don't have the Halloween vibe. I'm a mage, okay? I like those long flowing robes and being up in a tower.
Druid, if anything.
I think of you as almost like emotionally a paladin. Like just
I don't know what paladins do. Aren't they like the fighters?
Kind of, but they're also like
they're just like very honorable. Like you're good and upstanding.
Okay.
I've always pictured Rachel as a cleric.
Is like cleric scholar?
No, they're like fighting priests who do magic.
I don't do fighting.
Well, clerics are also the healers.
Yeah.
Like, so clerics can fight. Like, I'm a cleric in a campaign and I'm a tank.
Nice.
But they're also
because I have no subtlety.
But they're also they're like the healers, and they can like, depending on how you build it, like they can be the tank, but they can also just like buff the hell out of the party. So like cast bless, which means like everyone who's doing like a check can like up their check, or they can like curse the enemies.
We were trying to wrap up, and this is not the way towards wrapping up. I am lost to interrupt because this gets me.
Okay. I think our actual wrap up thing is what we're looking forward to. Is that I haven't even looked at the outline in a while.
No, me neither. I'm in the outline. What outline? Okay, so things that we are looking forward to. There wasn't that many releases in November and December, but I have a few things.
November and December are like dead months.
Yeah.
Star Wars Resistance Reborn comes out November 5th.
Would you say the title again?
Star Wars Resistance Reborn. It's written by Rebecca Roanhorse. And I'm hopeful that a couple of my favorite Rebels are going to be showing up.
Yes. Let's see. Anticipated 2019. What do we... I mean, I have more books in my most anticipated 2019 folders than I have read this year. So
you know what book is coming out in November? Catfishing on Catnet.
Oh, yeah. And that has a new cover as well. That's really cool as well.
I need to get that because I've really enjoyed Naomi Kritzer's short fiction.
Yeah.
She does the characters so well.
There was one thing. Interference by Sue Burke is coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And I went
Yes.
to my library page and looked if they had ordered it. And apparently someone had sent a purchase request, but hadn't managed to put a hold on it yet. And now, sorry for that person. I'm first in line.
Well, speaking of witchcraft, there is The Witches Are Coming by Lindy West, which is like a non-fiction book about like fighting the patriarchy in 2019 with the power of like being witches and stuff. Lindy West wrote a book called Shrill, which is about being a loud woman.
Yeah, that was good.
And I have an audiobook of that to listen to now. But the Witches Are Coming. That comes out in November, I think 5th or something like that. But basically, you know how shitty men in the media have been talking about how it's a witch hunt, that they are now facing consequences for things that they did that they shouldn't have done. And Lindy West wrote an op-ed where she said, yeah, you're right, it's a witch hunt because I'm a witch and I'm hunting you. And so this is what the book is. Yeah, this is what the entire book is. And I'm like, yes, give it to me. So there's that. There's Catfishing on Catnet. There is a book called Novice Dragoneer by E.E. Knight. And I've not read anything from this author, but it's a book about like learning how to be a dragon rider. And I am still a recovering teenage Dragon Riders of Pern fan. So I'm going to read that shit.
I think Daniel Jose Older has a new book.
I know Garth Nick's new book just came out.
Yeah.
Angel
Mage.
Mage is that.
I did buy that because one of my friends, Bria, read and reviewed it, and she really enjoyed it, and I trust Bria's judgment. So I got that. God damn it, Goodreads. Tell me what the hell the book is.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking now, but it's not ordered properly, so.
I know. God damn it, Goodreads.
Is it, no, it's not. It's not his Star Wars one.
No.
Is there anything else?
Hold on. Do
you have something? Did you have something that you're excited for, Brie, or did you?
Oh, I was excited for the new Garth Nix, but this is the time of year when we slow down on the releases, and
The Deep is coming out soon, or already came out in the US. I'm not sure.
It is coming out in November.
It's the Book of Lost Saints is the new Daniel Jose Older book, and it's coming out November 5th.
Okay.
And it's more like, it's not as fantastical as his other books, but it does have a ghost. So it's Marisol vanished during the Cuban Revolution, her fate unknown and lost to time. Now haunted by atrocities long forgotten, her foul-mouthed spirit visits her nephew Ramon in modern-day New Jersey. Her hope that her presence will prompt her descendant to unearth their painful family history. So yeah, that actually sounds really cool.
You said it's called The Deep?
No, the Book of Lost Saints.
Because I was going to say, because The Deep is the new River Solomon that's coming out on the 5th.
Right.
The Deep is
The
River
Deep
Solomon.
is with David Diggs, William Hudson, and Jonathan Snipes of Clippin'. And that's the one it's a novella about the descendants of enslaved African people who drowned in the passage to America. And it's about this one, now mermaid. Spoiler alert, they became mermaids. And it's about this one mermaid who's like, or merperson, I suppose, who's like charged with remembering all that really painful history. And it sounds amazing. I mean, River Solomon's books tend to be quite dark. Yeah. I'm really excited.
I'm actually really interested in The Blood Heir that is apparently coming out in November by Amélie Wen-Zhao, which had that huge controversy and they out of publication and stuff. So it's coming out next month. And I'm actually
it's the one where like some early reviewer said, hey, some of this shit is racist, and she was like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let me put it through another round of editing. And then they took it out, and now it's coming back again. And hopefully they fixed it.
Yeah.
Well, and it was also that because like people were looking at it because it deals with slavery, and the author is Chinese, and she was referencing slavery that is happening.
Is she Chinese American?
I think she's
No,
either
she's Chinese, and she's now living in America, but she's like originally has lived in mainland China and raised there. But she was referencing slavery that is still happening in China as of right now. And people were, American readers were taking it as referencing the American slavery, and that got torn into a huge deal. And then she was like, okay, I need to be better about this and stuff. But, you know, it like, there was a huge like thing about it because people were like blasting her through Twitter.
Well, but that's not what happened though. Like the people who had the criticism about it were some literary critics and authors who had criticism about it, and then it got blown out of proportion by people who like usually like by journalists who like to pick and choose from like the YA booktube YA bookish controversies and shit. Like the actual conversations between the people saying that they had issues with the book and the author and her publisher like seemed fairly like
it was
professional. That was like really good, but the actual like discourse online after the whole like it went public and stuff, that was
part of it was because like Kat fucking Rosenfield was fanning the flame. And side note, I am so fucking pissed that she's got like a big like release code.
Would you explain about Kat Rosenfield real quick, because I think people might not have followed. Yeah, so Kat Rosenfield is like a pseudo journalist who like publishes shitty takes
on YA all the time because she's mad that her YA books failed and she's awful, and please don't buy her book because bad behavior should not be rewarded.
Is she's a US journalist, is she, or is she UK? Do you know?
She's US, and the reason I'm really, really frustrated is that she, for some reason, got chosen to like finish a book that Stanley had started or like had co-created, and so like it's gotten a big push, and I've seen it in a lot of bookstores, and like she was invited to NYCC as an author, and I'm just like, her. Anyway,
so recentering. Are there any other books that we're looking forward to coming out?
I think we've said all the things, but Paul was saying the Carmen Marie Machado memoir comes out November 5th.
There's a lot of good stuff coming out November 5th, y'all.
Yeah, no, well,
and then December is dead.
Yeah, well.
And there's a new Erin Morgenstern book as well.
Oh, The Starless Sea.
Yeah, yes, The Starless Sea.
I'll wait until it comes to the library.
Fair.
We should see about wrapping up because
Okay, what's coming up?
That's what's coming up. We've just did the what's coming up, but what's coming up next time we're on Rachel's channel. And
I'm
next
doing
time
Vlogmas.
The time zones will be better. I'm sorry, what?
I'm doing Vlogmas.
More Rachel videos, more Rachel videos.
I'm trying to be smart about it. I already have my full list of videos. I already have a list of all the ones I can pre-film and what days I'll film them on. So
that sounds like a very Rachel way of doing things.
Can we have one video where Ava picks your books to read during the week?
I can't get her to focus that much.
I'm just all about like people putting their pets in their videos.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Like, I mean, I get it. I get how that works when other people's pets do it, but I'm like, how did you all get your pets to do that? Because Tabby would never do that.
The problem is my dog is really, really cute, but she's dumb as rocks, and it's impossible to get her to do anything. So.
Oh, baby.
but the big thing is that if she's food motivated, then you can make her do anything.
Oh, that's the hard thing too. Is you can't train her with food or anything. She's not really food motivated. So
Rachel's doing Vlogmas, which means Vlogmas is going to be great.
Yeah. What about you, Brie? Are you doing anything?
I have a video in the works about social contracts and ancestral might by Elizabeth Bear.
Nice.
And then I am also thinking about doing Vlogmas, at least the 12-day thing, because
Advent,
I'm getting a yarn Advent calendar. So I have to think about what I am going to do if I can be successful at that.
Yeah, I am gonna have to not do that because I did it last year and it was awful. But it's not to discourage anybody else, because like literally I shouldn't have tried that because my brain does not work well with that kind of thing, and I should have done that. So
I have a secret video coming up on hopefully the 20th of November, which involves song. So look forward to that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
See.
Oh, hello.
Is it this guy?
Okay, you get full screen. Hello. Hi. And and now the bot.
No, not the butt.
Not the bot.
It wouldn't be a cat if it didn't end with the butt.
Exactly. All right. Do I have things coming? Right. I have had something of a week, and therefore I didn't have time to make videos last weekend. I have loads of ideas and plans. They just haven't really materialized yet because I'm busy trying to get the season 2 of my podcast, Radio Free Fandom, out. We have one episode out that came out last week with Jenny of the Reading the End podcast. We put together a caper crew of undead beings and characters from media. It was cool. Other people have told us it was a cute episode, so I would recommend that. And then next week, hopefully Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, depending on how I get on with the editing, but I have got such a treat. I'm so excited. I recorded an episode about witchcraft and feminism with Hannah McGregor of Witch Please.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened at all. So I'm just like, what? Out of my league much, but whatever.
Because you're amazing, Claire, and I will find a way to call an Ira if I hear negative self-talk.
Yeah. Because I have met her before at an event that they did in London, and also she follows me on Twitter, so I figured I might as well ask. And she was very, very generous with her very, very busy schedule. So we did the whole episode, and it was awesome.
Nice.
Can't wait for everybody to hear it. Podcast is doing great. Catching up with it. Videos, yeah, I'm sure they'll happen at some point. I love you.
You've been very consistent.
I'm sorry?
I think you've been very consistent.
Oh, thank you. That's not the word I would have chosen, but I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I figured I was allowed to take the weekend off if I spend the weekend actually getting diagnosed with a mental health condition, which I've had myself. So,
well, welcome to the club where nobody probably wants the membership, but it's good to have.
Whatever. My brain is very weird and creative, and I enjoy the way that it functions. So. No, that's a lie. Sometimes Anyway, never mind that. Someone wraps up because I'm shit at wrapping up, and now I know why.
Bye-bye.
Well, we'll see you all next month over on Rachel's channel. It's Colonnati. Go check her out if you haven't already. Why haven't you checked her out?
Yes.
Are you starting the Hugo campaign now?
Yes. Hashtag Rachel for Hugo.
We're not calling
it is never too early to start. Well, because we need to get our nominating memberships before the year's out, so it is never too early to start the Hugo.
I'm going to have an episode on the podcast of recommendations for things to nominate for the Hugos, and that's going to come out mid-December, and that'll be in time to get your nomination memberships. So That's going to be a cool thing. Bye, baby. Okay.
Yeah, we gotta go now because Tesla's waving goodbye.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye bye.
Tesla's pulling a Ferris Bueller. Why are you still here?